So today we have Ryan coming on. We had the pleasure of meeting Ryan at a conference this year, and he is from FA Assistance, which is one of the fiscal agents here in Wisconsin.
Yep.
So we're really excited to hear how they started, where they came from, and all about them.
Yeah, they're newer, and they're not smaller, but they're not as well known as some of the bigger operations. So I'm very excited to change that.
Yes, spread awareness about them because they're doing great things from what I hear.
Yeah, same.
Hello?
Hello.
There you are.
Oh, hi.
Hi. We're just going to roll with it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We can edit. We're good.
Well, we can't.
Well, we can't.
Yeah.
Cammie can edit. She's great at that.
Good.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. We were just saying that Jaime and I had the pleasure of meeting you back at that conference in Oshkosh and learning about you guys. So we wanted to spread awareness and invite you guys to this podcast so that way we can help get the name out as well and learn about who is FA Assistance or
Fiscal Assistance.
Fiscal Assistance. Thank you.
Yep.
I was going to say I'm saying this name wrong, but yeah. So do you want to take it back to the beginning? Like when did you guys start? Where have you been? What all areas do you cover?
Yeah, so I've known Carol for well over 10 years. And Carol started this organization back in 2000. She actually started in 1999, where she started working with Dane County specifically on doing self-direction and getting those things going forward for people. So she started just specifically with like representative payee for people in 2000 out of her basement. It was just her in her office. And then she slowly grew the company to 2 employees, kind of working remotely at that time. There wasn't the internet per se was a thing, but it wasn't what it is now. And it slowly grew, and she moved offices a number of times. And now we are currently located in Madison, Wisconsin, and we have 17 staff on hand. And our employer agent, which is what I serve in as the enrollment director, there's 8 of us, and that is with like the payroll side of it, our enrollment team. On the representative payee side, there's 5 of them. And then there's 4 other employees who do like billing and all of that, or do like, office management, getting all of our stuff in a row for that.
Oh, so you guys are smaller than I thought. Okay. You're more our size.
Yeah. So we, I don't know the exact number of rep payee clients that we have because that's specific to each contract and how that goes. But we have about 1,900 kids across the state of Wisconsin that we service in the CLTS program.
That is insane and amazing.
Yeah. So, way back when, it used to be we just worked with Dane County. So it used to be our name was Fiscal Assistance of Dane County. And we only service kiddos or repayee people in Dane County. And then as things changed and progressed, we started adding in new counties and we branched out. And so Carol dropped the Dane County of it. So that way people, just didn't think we were one and only. And we just started adding counties. And by that time, pre-2025, I'll say, at that time, it was all like a county had to have a direct contract with you to be able to provide the services with the kiddos. So we really went by word of mouth, where we started in Dane County, and then we would add like Sauk County, and then we would, add in kids through there, and there'd be other fiscal agents, self-directed program, there should be options for people to use. So they could choose, us or someone else. Or maybe a third. I don't know every county and how they contract, or even at that time, because that's quite a while ago. And then they just slowly progressed in adding one county after another. And then in 2025, the Department of Health and Human Services changed how contracts go, and we can just service anyone in the state of Wisconsin, which is really handy and I think helpful for families, because if they move from, I have a kiddo right now who moved from Dane County to Milwaukee County. A lot's changing for that kid, right? School, everything's changed. OT, PT, and I don't know all the kids' services, right? But like, if we're going through all what they could have, OT, PT, they're in a new location that they've never lived at before. It's not just across town, that's a whole different environment. The school, who their friends are, the neighborhood. Like so much has changed for them, but we could stay the same for the family. So it's handy and helpful for people. So that way when they move, all we got to do is set up, hey, let's have your new workers complete these apps and we can get it done and help you. We get a lot of people who move, and that's totally fine. That's part of life, right? Is moving from one location to another and being able to, have those same services and people that at least some consistency for people is nice.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So like in 2025, we added in 9 new counties. And that can just be like one kiddo per
Mm-hmm.
county, or that could be one kiddo to start, and then we get our name into that county and then we start to grow.
Yep.
That is hopefully always the case. And pre, 2025, we didn't do a lot of go out there and outreach, right? Because we just did word of mouth. That's how our business grew. That's kind of was our foundation. But now I'm doing a little bit more outreach, going to, the in Oshkosh, what was it? The provider, I can't remember what it was called.
Me either.
But it was at the
Yeah.
Boys and Girls
We got the
Club.
Boys and Girls Club. Gosh,
It was
what
too
was
long
it?
ago.
Yeah.
That was February, wasn't it?
It was.
March.
That was a while ago, yeah. And then, just getting our name out and just meeting with other families, making our name known
Yep.
and the services that we offer, because it's
Yep.
different than other fiscal agents.
Yes.
And when I say fiscal agents, essentially that's a fancy term for a payroll company, is the easiest way to describe it.
That's how I
I
describe it.
work as a payroll company. I do the human services side of it and I do HR. So that's kind of like a blended role of what we do as an FEA or fiscal employer agent.
I was going to say, well, you are our first representative for a fiscal agent on here. So a
Okay.
lot of people, it's hard because I tell everyone it's like a puzzle. There's so many pieces to this puzzle. You have
Yes.
the person who is self-directing, that is the employer. You have the case management team that is authorizing services. You have the fiscal that is managing the budget and paying for them services. So everyone looks at you like,
I know there's so many people.
there's so many moving pieces here.
Right.
So having you as our first representative as a fiscal, just kind of explaining, what does that mean?
Uniquely, I used to be a special education teacher.
Oh.
So I used to sit in on all those meetings after school, right? And talk with case managers, talk with social brokers, talk with, X, Y, and Z about how to coordinate services for these families. And it was always a puzzle to me, like you said,
Yeah.
like how does this all go on behind the scenes? And then I was recruited to come here and work at FA, and I got kind of burnt out at teaching. That's just how we need to leave it. And so I left and came here, and now I see it on the flip side, and I enjoy being part of that puzzle piece to help connect everything and kind of finish it and be that, we don't want to be very vocal in the whole process. We want to be behind the scenes, making sure everything's smooth, making sure the family's getting what they need, when they need it, and how they need it.
Yeah.
And so we just try and make everything as smooth as possible for people. So that way they can just hire workers as fast as they can. They can report their time and get paid as quickly as they can. And they have multiple different ways to do that because not everyone's the same.
Yes.
Yeah, when I had met you at the conference, that was one thing we were really struggling in the beginning of the year with 3 to 6 week turnarounds on new hire packets. And that when you said you could get one done in 7 days, I'm like, tell me your secrets. I need to know.
we need this. we need this
That
in our
just
life.
blew me away. I wasn't understanding how there's such a difference in processing.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's all based on companies,
Yeah.
And there's no wrong or right way to say it at all. We're the only fiscal employer agent or payroll company in the state of Wisconsin that's a nonprofit. That's how we operate. That's how we've always been, and I can't foresee us changing that in the near future. With that, all of my staff, and I say my staff as in the payroll team, everyone who works with us in the employer agent outreach, enrollment team, all kind of universal, same thing. We all are dedicated. We want families to get the service they need. I have a nephew who has disabilities and is on the CLTS program. I want him to get the services he needs. Like I have firsthand knowledge of what it's like, for my sister to go through and what she needs. I want to make that smoother. I can talk with her and say, hey, what do you need? What makes it faster? She doesn't use fiscal assistance. There'd be a conflict of interest, but how can I help it out for other families?
Yeah.
And so once I started, Carol recruited me to do an online process. So our packets for like employees or employers. So the kiddos application or the adults application, because I know you guys work with a lot of adults as well, and we
Yep.
do service adults. It's just a different way the contracts work. Um, all of our packets are online. She wanted me to do it so I could make everything streamlined. So I specifically worked with an engineer to design a system that, you click a button and you can complete an application online,
Yes.
just like you would if you were applying to like Quick Trip or Menards or, anywhere else. They have a lot of their applications online now that you can just complete. We did the same thing to make things faster for people.
I love
Um,
that. We often talk
Thanks.
about systems need to be made for the people using them, not for
Right,
our benefit. And
right.
I love that because
I do.
everyone's so unique. Everybody has different abilities. Some people are not technology savvy, and that empowerment piece as well. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd really try to empower people. Like when I call someone about setting stuff up, I say you can have a paper application, but I just want you to know there's going to be some problems with that. Mailing, that's
Takes
not
time.
consistent, that's not fast.
mhm.
You can also forget a signature or forget X, Y, and Z, and then now we have another delay.
Yep.
Versus our online system is very, very handy. I designed it, thinking about families too. So like when you complete an application, and I'm doing it on behalf of my kiddo, I'll say my son's name is Monroe. That's his name, but just easier to use an example.
Yep.
Once I put all of his information in, it autofills to all the other pages. I don't have to recreate the wheel every single
Mhm.
time to make it harder. So then I'm only needing to think about what is new about this page that applies to Monroe. What is new about this page? And so that way, then families don't have that barrier of, oh my gosh, I got to type my address in 8 times,
Mhm.
right, to complete this application. Nope, I need to concentrate and do it once, do it well, and then I can move on. And we applied the same thing to the employee application because we know it's hard to find employees,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yes.
it is hard to get employees. So the faster we can get someone and easier we can make it for someone to do the work, the faster we're going to get them start dated.
Yep.
Yes.
We found that the faster, of course, the fast is good, but also removing so many of the barriers just makes the job seem more legitimate.
Mhm.
Sometimes we run
Yes.
into so many hurdles trying to get onboarding paperwork done that even I am like, this is a fake process. This is fake. This has to be, this
Yeah.
can't be for real.
Yeah.
Um,
Why are you asking for my social security card before I even fill out a packet?
or
Like, that's not
before you even
okay.
Right.
offer me the job,
Yeah.
like that's just weird. Yeah. So yeah, that is very amazing that you developed a system that gets people done so
Mhm.
much
Yeah.
faster, and removing the barriers and the hurdles.
I don't understand why things have to take like kind of you said like 6 weeks.
Well,
I don't understand that.
and
I
that's
don't.
been the biggest mystery for me, and I'm hoping that maybe you can shed some light, because one thing with talking to people and all the meetings that we've had internally, one thing that I still don't understand is what the process of a fiscal agent is. So what is everyone's got bureaucratic red tape that we're jumping through on the Medicaid side. So what is your
Mhm.
red tape? Like what slows you down in your processing? Like if you could make something faster for yourself, what would that be if you had control over it?
Of like my actual like what I do or what the process is entirely.
Entirely.
Someone actually applying.
Oh,
Oh,
that's our job.
Right, like
right.
that to me is the hardest process
Okay.
because it can be, we provide you all the information, all the tools. We have links. I and on even within the application, I have links to like other samples and whatnot, so you know why you're completing what you're doing.
Mhm.
Like, why do I have to supply my social security card? Well, it's because it goes to this form, which is required to do employment verification
Yep.
and eligibility. So I have all those things done, but if someone doesn't click the link, I can't do anything,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And so I get half the time I'll get a family who's like, "Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going to do it today." And they do it, but their worker 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? And I
Mhm.
try and send out like friendly reminders off of the same email saying, "Hey, complete this application. Here's the link again. This is what you need to do. Here's some helpful tips and tricks." Crickets.
Yeah.
And everyone's got their own things going on in life. So there's no
Mhm.
judgment in that, right? Like
Right.
last week I was in the doctor's office quite a bit, right? Like I wouldn't have been able to do it, but I could have done it this week. So I think me, it's actually the biggest barrier is just people doing the
Okay.
applications, not any of my processes
Mhm.
on the back end.
Okay.
Because, my team, we're only a team of 3. But we service families across the entire state of Wisconsin. And we have a process, we work on it. We have checks and balances where, someone does one thing, I'm reviewing it, or someone else is reviewing it to make sure it's correct. And we move on and move forward. Is it a busy day? Yep. Am I exhausted? Yep. But am I helping families get what they need when they need it as fast as I can? Yes.
That's what matters.
And I think when I call families and I'm like, hey, I got a start date for you, they're like, wow, already?
The relief.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's funny because we often look at the biggest barrier that we're up against is once they complete that packet, the caregivers that we're working with are constant like, where are we at? Where are we at? When can I start? When can I start? So your guys' biggest barrier is getting them to apply. Our biggest barrier is getting them through the process and keeping them engaged through the process.
Right.
Because there's so many times by the time they get that start date, they're gone. Job. Yeah, they've already started somewhere else.
They've already got their first paycheck at their other job. Like, that's, I mean, that's the
part where like the timing wise, like I use the family, like if I complete it on behalf of Monroe, like now I'm waiting on the worker, but it also works on the flip side. Like the workers do like, hey, I want to do this. I need a job. I'm ready to do it. And then the family doesn't finish their end. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's hard too. So it's barriers both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think no matter what, we're in a system. Everybody has their own system. Everybody has their own policies through Medicaid and DHS. Everyone has something we're up against. There's always going to be something.
So one part of the process that you probably don't have as much control over is when you have to request the Medicaid ID. Is that a thing on the CLTS?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's new.
It's not on the CLTS, but it is on the adult.
On the adults.
Yep.
Are you seeing that hold up your process at all? Waiting for that number?
So because I've automated, I wouldn't say automated. We've made the system easier for people, taking less barriers. I get so much data so quickly that when I see an adult application come through, I'm just applying right now. Like I'm not waiting to do, until I have like 3 or 4 or it's on a set day, like this is when I apply for them. I'm just doing it because I know the families need it.
Yes.
Like that's always been my philosophy. So, if their application was completed today, I would submit the MAID request today. And, with those agencies, the adult agencies, which are called MCOs, just for people who don't know, managed care organizations, they have their own process they have to go through. And if I'm not getting it in 1 to 2 business days after I requested it, now I'm following up. Because if I'm not following up, the workers are calling you guys or the workers are calling me and saying, where are we at? And if I can help be like, oh yeah, I just got it today, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z for you. It makes the person feel better and feel like they're being heard, which makes them want to do the work for the person.
Yep, exactly.
Right? Or makes the people go, oh, well, you really care about me and want me to get this care I need. So now I'm going to I might approach you a little bit differently than if you were just pausing everything. Right? Because that can be hard too. If they think like you're not communicating, then you get the angry phone calls, the frustration. I rather over communicate than under communicate.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. That is one of the biggest things that we hear consistently, even this week. This week has been a rough week with one person because
no communication.
They're like, where are we at? I need care. Like desperate. I need care. We've been going on 3 weeks of this. Like, where are we at? And it's just crickets. And we're like, I'm sad for that. It shouldn't be that way. So
it shouldn't be that hard for someone.
It really shouldn't. I mean, their focus should be on their cares. Their, getting people in and survival. Yeah, they shouldn't have to jump through these hoops. Who do you request the MAID through? Is it Forward Health? Do you guys request that directly?
That's interesting. In the adult realm, there's 2 different numbers you have to apply for. One is their EVV number for the federal mandate for that. It started in 2019. So there's that number, which I can directly go to Forward Health and request.
Oh.
With the MAID, that actually has to go through the managed care organization to DHS. So I have to gather all the applications, all of that ahead of time, have all of that completed, send it to the managed care organization, and then they send it to DHS, and then it goes the reverse order.
Oh,
yeah. Well, that's
dirty.
Muddy.
It's a little muddy.
It's a little muddy. But when a managed care organization has their systems down pat and has a clear communication, like you need to have them submitted by this time, so then you can get it that this time, it's easy. Like to me, like as long as there's clear communication from the organization of like, this is what we need from you when we need it, and it's consistent every day of the week, you just abide by it. You just get it done.
Right.
And generally it's the next day. So like
good.
There are situations where it's not. That happens. There's errors in systems. I make a typo, causes an error, but then that just means that when it comes back to me, and now I'm expediting because I feel bad that I made the error, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like now I'm going to do it a little bit faster so that way I can get you to the start date. So there's barriers with the Medicaid ID, but I also think it provides people with a lot more. I mean, not people, as I should say. It provides just more continuity for the workers, not the worker, the members, and the care they're getting, because the state is constantly doing updates to OIG, SAM, the caregiver registry, all things we have to do as part of our background check. We can't keep up with that on the day to day. But if the Medicaid ID number is assigned to them and they see that that popped up, bam, now we can start narrowing it all the way down from managed care, inform the managed care organization, inform the fiscal agent, like this person can't work anymore because of a mistake they made.
Okay.
Right? Something that occurred. So I do see the benefits in it, in the care for overall for the members. It has added a little bit of a barrier, but as long as you're knowledgeable about it, I don't see how it can take 6 weeks, 3 weeks to do it. I just don't understand that process.
Me either. I guess I didn't realize that it was coming from the MCO side. So weird that it has to go from the application with you back to the MCO, back to you.
Right.
Yeah, that you would think it would be just streamlined into like fiscal management.
Yeah.
Right. I maybe one day that's where they'll get to, right? Or maybe, they're wanting to have it as that, so that way their DHS is directly communicating with the managed care organization rather than the fiscal agent. So that way they can just apply it to all the members rather than that worker might work for one person here, one person here, one person here, and it can just be like a direct, like, boom, done. And then they're communicating with all the different fiscal agents, like, oh, Jane Doe works with fiscal assistance and FEA number 2 and 3, and now it's your responsibility to just communicate all at once.
I might owe
I don't exactly know.
an apology.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I thought it was, we were waiting on an MID, so I was putting some pressure on, and I kept going, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? I'm like, oh, sorry guys, I didn't realize. Maybe they were waiting on it.
But they also didn't respond to you either.
They
so
didn't.
we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
We very clearly have questions about the process, and we've attempted to get them before, and it just still was just very unclear. Like, once you get the packet, what needs to happen then? And that answers a lot more questions. Like, there is some bebopping around of data in order to get that start date.
Yeah.
Right. There it is. And to me, it's just knowing the process, right?
Yes.
If I know the process and I'm on top of it, I can get someone to start date as fast as possible. I still, when you guys shared with me, some people are like 10 to 14 business days, I was mind blown. Like, we've never had that policy with us. If it gets to 6 business days, I'm working the weekend. Like, I'll just be honest. Like, I don't want families to be waiting that long. Like, that's 2 weeks essentially to us. Like, the full week and then going on to the next one. I don't want that for someone. That's way too long. So currently we're about 3 business days.
Good
I
Lord.
love that.
I'm not onboarding people right now, but what are you seeing right now?
Weeks.
Still weeks. So nothing's really changed. We're still at the 14 business days.
Sometimes, if for whatever reason, if they can get them through, one was with a couple days, but that's rare. We're seeing a couple weeks right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nothing's much changed.
Yeah. No. And if it's out of state, for whatever reason, out of state seems to be
states are rough.
A very rough one.
In-state background checks generally within 24 hours. You have it.
Yeah.
That's just plain and simple. And there's no reasoning. Like, I conducted one the other day, and it was a standard one. There was nothing ever done on this one, and it took over 24 hours.
Interesting.
I don't know. Other ones, completely fine. Within 5 minutes, I had it. Right? Like, it just is what it is. Out of state, those are a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
I've had them take up to 2 months to come back.
Wow.
And really at that point, like, there's nothing I can do.
No.
hopefully they're related to the person, because if they're related, then I find they want to stay on, they want to keep that employment. But if not, man, they've moved on.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Months,
we
that's too
recently
much.
had to do an out of state, and we learned that each state, their backgrounding is different. So
Oh, yeah.
it's not
Mhm.
like a standardized
Yeah.
process. Every state operates differently and has different
Yeah.
timelines. I'm like, oh, well, that's fun.
I forgot what state it was. They wanted fingerprints. And I'm like, is this a scam?
It was Ohio.
It was
It was
Ohio.
Ohio.
It was Ohio. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is weird. Are we?
Yeah, some states are doing that, and that poses a big problem.
Large problem. I've only been fingerprinted once in my entire life for a background. That was my foster care license. So that's just weird to me.
What are they supposed to do? Go to the courthouse and get fingerprinted like the police station
You can
and
go to
send
the-
it over?
We went to the police
I
station.
haven't had one, so I haven't had to research how to do it.
I went to the police station.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Well, now you're in the database.
Yep, I am. I am very
So,
much.
You
You can
you're
find
good.
me.
Yeah. So going back to the MID number, I'm
Mhm.
still trying to paint myself a picture here. Does that MID number get attached to the person or the applicant, the new
The
hire?
worker.
The worker.
It's worker.
Okay. So does that follow them? Like we have an MID number and it follows us everywhere. It would follow them.
Yes. Mhm.
So if they
So
have,
it'd be
so they have to request a new MAID number though every new member they work with. Because I feel like that should be much more streamlined if they already have one.
it's the same one.
Hmm.
They get assigned one, kind of like a social security number. You get it
Sure.
once, and then it applies to everyone.
Okay.
So if a worker was with us and I request the MAID number, right, and then I get it back, and then they went to another fiscal agent to work for a different member through another MCO, that fiscal agent still has to apply for it, and it's just going to say there's an existing one, and here's the MAID number.
Oh,
And then
okay.
they'll
So that's
give it
not
to them,
necessarily
and
slowing things down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it'll just connect, person A from this
Mhm.
place to this place.
Okay.
It's the same thing with the EVV number. Once we put those in the system, as long as there's no errors, that's a whole different ballgame. Then, it just is the same number connected.
We're
Yeah.
starting to see a lot more like audits and stuff like that on especially the EVV side. And I've had the verbiage said that they're going to lose their ability to be a self-directed caregiver. Is that because it's attached to that EVV number because they're not clocking in and clocking out correctly? I don't know if I'm asking that correctly.
Could
Okay.
be.
So there is
you know,
repercussion on the caregiver.
There's what?
There is repercussion to the caregiver. Like they could.
There can be.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That's good information to know.
Yeah, fortunately, I haven't had to deal with any of those situations, but EVV is a whole different ballgame, and you have to
Mhm.
be compliant. Essentially, it's just you have to be compliant. You have to be clocking in and clocking out from the member's home on an approved device, whether
Yeah.
that's and each agency is different. So the government provided SAN data, which is a universal one that every state can go in. It's free to use. However, there's limitations, right, with
Yes,
that.
there are.
We paid to have our own developed through our software company that meets the criteria and was approved to be an EVV compliant system and is used in other states too, because our software is used for self-directed service across many states that we use. So we paid to have it done, incorporated into our system, so it's easier and more user friendly. I know that system pretty inside and out because I've done adults prior to being the enrollment director. I just worked in the adult realm, and that's all that I did primarily. So I know that system very well. And it really is just you having to do it. Are we going to be human and make mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm going to forget when I get to their house at noon to clock in because they're starving because they haven't, their morning breakfast was made way earlier because their husband had to go to work right early that day, and I'm coming in to do lunch now and they're starving and I forget. That's part of life, right? We all make mistakes. So I have to clock in a little bit later. There's ways to fix that, but it's just always remembering to do it, right? Is the harder thing.
Yeah. EVV, oh my goodness. I feel like this could be episode after episode after episode trying to dig in and dive into it, because when you have, in my mind, you go in and as a caregiver, I'm putting myself as a caregiver, going back to my caregiving roots. and I'm helping somebody and I'm punched in under the supportive home care code because I'm doing dishes. Well, now they have to use the toilet. So now I have to punch out of that code and I need to punch into the other code. Like,
Right.
in my mind, I feel like that's where the state was thinking when they wanted this, so they can identify, how long are personal care is taking, how long is supportive home care taking. But in a caregiver world, I'm thinking that you could do that 100 times a day, depending on if it's a
Right.
24-hour individual that you're caring for.
Mhm.
Or if all of a sudden you're having vomit all over the floor, you're not going to be like, hold on, I got to punch out and I have to punch in. So there's flaws to any system, but I understand the reason why they're doing it as well, and the
Yeah.
fraud piece of it.
Right. It has its pros and cons, right? It like anything.
Yep.
But it is what it is and what we have to deal with and try and figure out and help people to get what they need
Mm-hmm.
when they need it.
Yeah.
Is your payroll software integrated with your EVV software?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So it's one system for all.
Yep.
That
Yeah, I
makes-
know other companies will require like a paper timesheet in addition to the EVV data. We don't do that. It's all in one. So if you're doing EVV and you're doing it successfully, it's going to flow over to our payroll and it's not going to be an issue. And I'm going to be able to see it too. So it's a really user-friendly system compared to, Sandata. And there's positive about Sandata. Don't get me wrong. It just wasn't as user-friendly for us either.
Yeah.
And so then it just made it like, how can we fix this? How can we make it easier for the members, the family? So when they call me saying I'm having problems, I know how to help them.
Yeah. What does your payroll look like, your pay period? Is it biweekly? Is it twice a month?
Mm-hmm.
Biweekly?
Biweekly.
Okay.
Yep. So we function on pretty much a 2-week turnaround. So like today, Friday, July 31st. I'm sorry, I had to look because I'm like, I don't know, just today.
They're all flowing
is
together.
a pay date for people. So they get paid today, and then like next week, Wednesday, a timesheet will be due for the current pay period that we're in right now, and then the following Friday they get paid. And so it's every other week. So I always tell people once you get in the groove after the first payment, you'll be set and fine. You get paid, you turn in time, get paid, turn in time, get paid, turn in time.
Yeah.
So it's pretty smooth and straightforward. Our payroll team, there's 4 of them, and they, process through a ton of timesheets every week, and they do a great job at it. And we're all human; we make mistakes.
Yeah.
So if we made a mistake, we'll do a same day and get you paid. It's not, it shouldn't be the worker's fault that they don't get paid because it was our error.
Absolutely.
Just like if I make a mistake on an application, I'm expediting it now because I need to get going.
Yeah.
That's kind of all of our philosophy at work.
I love that.
Are you app-based?
For pay?
For the software that uses it app-based or is it web-based?
Well, so like for our kids program,
Yep.
we offer 2 different options. It can do paper timesheets because there's always going to be a grandparent, generally grandparent. I say that just because that's
The
most
age
likely where
demographic.
we find it, not that other people don't use it. We offer paper that they can do in the kids realm, and then we also offer our electronic timesheets. So it's essentially a website, but it's very handy because let's say me as the parent, something's going on with, I have 3 kids, something's going on with my 2 other kids. And I generally make the timesheet, but I don't have time because my kids have a medical need. There's stuff going on. Well, the worker can log in, they can create their timesheet, and they can get sent to me directly in an email through our e-timesheets. And so then the worker could call me, say, hey, the timesheet's in line. Can you look at it? Boom, boom, pull it up, clicks, push send and approve. It gets sent directly to me. Flip side, workers having problems, right? Like, because we know like things go on in their lives too. They're human. Me as the parent, I can make it and do the same exact thing the other way. So it doesn't matter who starts it, but it can get communicated to each person. So that's a really handy thing for people because they can just be like, well, life's going on for you. I get it. Like, let's just do this right now. I'll take the bearer of this and get it done for you rather than just saying it's all on you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then on the adult side, because of the EVV compliance, that's probably a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The EVV compliant depends on what mode you're doing. So we offer 2 different ways to do it. You can either go through an app and you clock in and clock out using the app, which I have found is a very helpful, user-friendly app. I've used it many times to try and help people like navigate technology issues because there's always going to be technology issues.
Yep.
You don't update your phone, you don't update the app, right? Like
location
the software
services, all of
company.
it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they also, that's called our EVI system, EVVIE. kind of like EVVD. But anyways, so that's just is one system, or the worker can use our Ivory system, which is the call-in system.
Oh, okay.
And so they have a 1-800 number. They push one, and then they put there's all the prompts are on the left-hand side of the screen. So they push one to clock in. They put in their employee number. They're clocked in. At the end of the shift, they use the same 1-800 number. They push two. They put in their employee number, the participant number, and then what service code that they used. So like if they're doing supportive home care, right, that's going to be one code. But if they're doing personal supports, that's another code, right? Like so in that system, yeah, if you were a caregiver and someone just vomited, like or like routine home care, it's totally different. Like now I got to clock in, clock out, like that can be cumbersome. I 100% agree with you guys on that. And so then they can clock in and clock out using the phone. Because some people they just don't want to use an app. They don't want that on their phone. And then for the people who receive the care, they have a website that they can use if they're doing like the app, if the worker's doing the app or the phone system, that they can log in. Because let's say they're tech savvy and they're like, well, I just want to use the online, and they can review it right then. And then if they approve what they did, it can get sent over to us. If they're not tech savvy or they live in an area where internet's kind of in and out, right? They also have their own Ivory call-in guide where they can call in and approve shifts that way.
Oh, so cool.
So we really do have user friendly. It's designed for them. That's amazing.
It's individualized, right? Like and like whether you're talking the adult realm or the kids realm, right? Let's just say the grandparent of Monroe isn't tech savvy, so they want to do paper timesheets, but their aunt is. I can do paper timesheets with grandma, and I can do e-timesheets or electronic timesheets with aunt. Totally okay. Same thing can work in the adult realm. One person has an app on their phone because they are tech savvy and they want to use the app. Boom, that worker can use it. The other one's like, well, I don't have a smartphone. I just have a basic phone, right? Okay, then you need to use the call-in system and you can use that, right? So, or like, oh, there's going to be an iPad at the residence because the resident is good at tech. Okay, I'll help you walk through clocking in and clocking out every time you get here, right? So like it can be flexible on how someone records their time. It doesn't have to be like a one all catch all for us. We try and be really individualized to the person and the worker and what their all needs are.
I love that. So if you have somebody who is blind, let's say, they can use the call-in system, and in that call-in system, it'll read them the shifts so that they can approve it that way. Wow. That is amazing.
Wow.
That's
amazing. And I've worked with a number of individuals who like maybe they're not fully blind, but they need stuff enlarged, right? So I'll blow it all up on, instead of 8.5 by 11 by 11 by 17, and I'll send it to them that way. So that way then it's larger font for them. They can see it. So that way they can have access to the system.
That's awesome. That is one barrier that we're always up against with individuals. With one of the apps, she's really struggling because you can approve it, but you don't know what you're approving because she can't see it.
Yeah,
right?
She's just being told where
to
sign.
Or they're like, here, they hand her phone so she can just scribble. You have no clue what's on that screen.
No.
So
they could write any number of hours at any point.
Yeah, and it's happened.
It has happened, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The determining factor when we hear from people is it's either what is the payroll? Is it biweekly or is it twice a month? And how fast can they onboard my people? That's the determining factor for fiscals from members that we hear.
And I think for FA compared to others, we're not as well known. Like, because we always went by word of mouth before.
Yep.
Back in 2022, I was fresh coming here. I started in 2021. It was one county at a time. We were adding like every 6 months, we were adding a county because it was by word of mouth.
Yep.
Now, like last year, we added 9 counties, and it wasn't by word of mouth. It was because people moved. I even had one this morning. A county reached out, said, hey, we had someone who moved in. They want to still use you. And I just think that, us getting our name out more, just so people are aware, like there's another option, right?
Yes.
Like I'm not saying any other companies are bad. I think other companies are great,
Yeah.
right? I go on their websites and look at how they're organizing or displaying their forms. What are they doing for things, right? Because we all have to learn from each other,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like that is the best way to go forward.
Yep.
Yes.
When we go to conferences, I always say that we don't have competition because we should be all working together.
Yep.
Because there's not a shortage of individuals needing our services, and not one company can tackle all the needs. That's not possible. So we have to be able to spread that out amongst a lot of companies doing good things. So there's space for all of us, but there's definitely like you said, everybody has a different way of doing things, and some of them are just a little slower than others.
And learning from each other. That collaboration piece is so vital because things are constantly shifting. Our favorite word is pivot. We have to pivot. Oh, this came up. All right, we're going to pivot. Things are always changing. So having that collaboration piece, everyone's stronger for it versus competition. Like collaboration's just so much better.
That's a lot what I did when I was a teacher, is collaborate on how to help support a student, right? How to best teach this lesson, right? So I can put out my A game so the majority of kids can get it. Is everyone going to get it? No. But how can I do it best? And I think that's something that we don't do enough of, is collaboration.
Yep. That's kind of one of our motivating factors of doing this, is just get everyone talking. Everyone's struggling. There's struggles in the industry. The world is changing. The government's making a bunch of changes. Let's get together and figure it out.
Yeah. Actually, off of the Oshkosh, thing, Marla reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you come to one of our provider meetings?" Right? And so I attended one of those on the 21st and was able to, sit and listen. And I listened to a gentleman who speak, and I had no knowledge about what he was talking about. And I was like, wow, I've never heard of this. And as I listened more and more, I'm like, well, this just doesn't apply to me, because it was about, he helps people in transitions, right? Going, whether it's a transition from 14 going to be an adult, or a transition from someone passing away, or like setting up things for your child who has disabilities for when you pass away, right? So they're set up for success later on in life. I had no idea. Like, I took all what he said and I was like, I need to talk to my sister about this, right? Because my nephew's going to be 18 before we know it, right? Like, how can I best support? Or if a family's like, yeah, my case manager says at 17 and a half we should start doing things. I'd be like, well, now I know better, because I collaborated with someone else. And he's like, really, you should start like 16 or 17, not at 17 and a half, to get the guardianship paperwork set up, to get these different things done for the kiddo. Because by that time that 18th birthday happens, man, a lot of life happens.
Yes.
Yep.
And that was huge for me. I enjoyed that immensely, being able to go to that. But that's the first one of many of the counties that we work in that I've been able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Not saying that there isn't those going on. It's just the first one I've been invited to.
Yeah. We just learn a lot. That's been the fun part about the podcast. And this last year, our mission was connection, like just connection. We weren't going to grow. We were going to connect. We accidentally grew because of the connection, but that connection, we got to learn so much about different like people within the industry that might not impact us, but it's impacting our members in their everyday life. And then we added CLTS, and wow, did we learn a lot. It's a whole different life over there. Yeah,
CLTS is a whole different ballgame.
It really is.
And like, it takes away the EVV component, it takes away the MAID component, makes things simpler in a lot of realms, but it also, there's more volume in it, at least from what I experience.
Yeah, because you have families with 2 to 3 kids on waiver programs. Yeah, the volume is definitely different. I love that we can recruit and help hire minors on the CLTS side. Yeah, that has been fun. That generation up and coming, the 16, 17-year-olds, they are highly impressive. Can't wait to have them in the workforce. They're impressive humans. And I think that's one of the cool parts about the CLTS program.
Yeah. The CLTS program has a lot of, it's just different, and you're dealing with families on their day to day. And, like, I talked to a mom the other day, and she's like, I need this care, Ryan. She's like, I need it. This individual is the oldest one. I have twins. I have another child, and I just had it. That child's like 4 weeks old. I need some help.
Yes.
It feels good to be able to help someone in need when they can advocate and talk about, like, and then also that she's like, this is going to help doing X, Y, and Z with the kiddo, right? Like that is really feels good. And that motivates to do the work faster and, be thorough and just consistent with them.
Yeah. That's one thing we definitely learned on the kiddo side is the parents work, parents have other kids. This one person's needs is not all their entire day. It becomes their entire day. But adding one more hurdle and one more hard thing to their day, honestly, I see them burn out and not want to hire because it's just, they'll just be like, never mind, this is too hard. And that's not because they're like quitters or giver uppers. It's literally because it's just one more hard thing. It's just one more thing you have to fight for. And so knowing that there's some relief there.
That's where, like, when I designed the packets, like, I thought of it as like when I was a special ed teacher, right? If I had to do this, okay, there's all this paperwork and all these meetings pre-getting eligibility to be in special ed, right? That you have to do. Then there's all these forms you have to sign as a parent, and as a teacher, I have to complete all X, Y, and Z. And then you have to do the same thing, but similar and different with CLTS. And then you got to do all this stuff, and you got to constantly updating those. Like every 6 months, you're doing a renewal. And now I got to do forms for a fiscal agent.
Yes.
That's where then, like, I made it so it was just auto-filled. You do it once. And when I tell parents that, they're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why I want to make it easier for you, because I don't want you're already burned out, right?
Yes.
Or you're close to burning out. I want you to get what you need before you're burned out, or so you can start refreshing yourself. So how can I do that faster? How can I do that easier for you?
Yeah. One weird, unique thing that I've seen between the adults and the kiddos is that on the kids' paperwork side, the parents get the paperwork that they need to submit before the I-9s are filled out. So it's backwards on the kids' side, where on the adult side, they're getting a fully completed packet to review and sign, and then it goes to the fiscal. They're getting the packet that was done by the worker, but the I-9 isn't filled out. So then they get stuck. And then the feedback we are often getting is we'll call the parent should be calling the worker to get their I-9 documents like text messaged or emailed to them. I'm like, oh, goodness. I mean, as a parent with special needs kids, and I'm like, no, thank you. I'm very fortunate that the people that I've onboarded have all been my family, but I'm like, I don't know that I would just be like, hey, Jane, we don't know each other yet, but I'm going to need your documents. Text it to me.
That's where us as the fiscal take that role on, and we complete that form.
Oh, very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
The I-9 is always the biggest barrier because the caregiver doesn't want to give out them documents. Especially, I'm surprised at how many people will text a document like that. That's so unsecured.
I know.
But they will. But we've had pushback. They're saying, I don't want to give you my social security card. I don't want to give you my birth certificate. Like, this is just weird. But then if they have to upload it into a packet, oftentimes they always forget to upload it. Like that I-9 really is, it's I get it
barrier.
As an employer. I know the importance of that form, but it is a barrier on the side.
And I think as like the fiscal agent, right, like technically, legally, that form doesn't have to be completed day one of start date, right? It legally does not have to be done. However, as the fiscal agent, who's the third party to all of that, if someone starts with another family, the likelihood of me actually getting that form completed is minimal, because now I already gave you the start date. I already gave you all the information. Like, you're not going to want to finish it all the time. Some people will. You can say, well, I'm going to withhold your pay. Okay, yeah, I'll give it to you. But it might not be within the 3 days, right? So like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yep.
It gets dicey. So it's easier to just do it in the moment.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
The I-9 is the form we have the most issues with.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yep. It's just it's got a lot of personal information on it. But yeah, it was just weird. That was the very first packet we ever did. I'm like, oh, this is messy.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we were able to clean it up. We've got our workarounds nowadays. But like, that was one thing that like, even all the support brokers were coming to me like, well, what do I do? I'm like, oh, usually by the time we get them, it's done. Yeah. So like, we can just like do the signatures and move on. But
I think the other thing is people don't always want to read.
No.
Right. So like, they don't apply like what they're seeing online to what they complete in a paper application. Maybe if they stopped at, Piggly Wiggly and they were going to do one in the moment to do something there. They're not applying that I got to do the same documents to that, even though there's examples online for us. There's a link to what you have to do. They just don't do it.
Yep.
And so I think sometimes it's that reading piece that just people don't do.
It is. That's why on our end as a support broker, if we can sit down with them and do it page by page, I've never had somebody push back on that. It's always when they're trying to do it independently on their own that's like, ooh, I don't like this.
Right.
So if we always tell all of the fiscals, use us as a resource. We are like the gophers. We are boots on the ground. If you if you need the signature, we will drive there and get that signature and send it back. Because when I get to sit down with somebody and do a new hire paperwork, whether it's a electronic or paper, I can go page by page and I can actually explain what you're signing. And then that comfort zone is better than
it's a real person, not a program.
Yes, versus just electronic, like sign. Because you're right, nobody's going to read, especially that MA provider form. Nobody's reading that.
Well, now it's what,
16
pages versus the front and back it used to be.
Yep.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. So having that human do it, and that human interaction, it helps, and it goes so much smoother. And you often, if one of us are involved, you're often not getting them missing signatures, or most of the time, hopefully. But just having
it's a
that
vital
human
piece, because families, like, there's just so much paperwork, and so to have someone who can sit with them and just explain X, Y, and Z, it just makes things so much smoother for them. And sometimes it's not even, they don't understand what they're going to be doing, right? And so it's like, what is this? And they're just afraid to ask. So then if I'm not going to ask, if no one's sitting with me, then I'll ask. But if no one's here, then I'm not going to ask at all. Right. And so then I don't want to do the paperwork at all, because I don't have these answers questioned.
Right. It's just another daunting
answers,
piece.
questions, answered. Wow, that was great.
It's just another daunting piece. I've joked, because like, this is what I do for work, and yet I struggle so bad to like get the new hire paperwork done, just because it's just another daunting piece of the puzzles. It's like, oh, this is what I do for work, and yet I just don't, when I get off work, I just want to do any more paperwork. But that paperwork is just life, especially with special needs kids. It is just life.
Yeah. We have we're pretty empathetic on that piece of it, because I'm constantly looking at, we have our own structure, we have our own routine, we do what we do, but getting into the CLTS and hearing the feedback and the different stories and seeing the burnout, we had to look at our way of doing things and like, are we really offering the best way for everybody? Are we putting another barrier in place, or are we removing that barrier? So I love them conversations, because it makes me think, like, are we doing the best that we can do for somebody?
And meeting people 100%. Where they are. It's definitely different. On the adult side, being disabled is often their full-time job. Their full-time job is keeping their benefits going, keeping their staff, writing their schedules, keeping their, getting all their basic needs. On the kid side, it's that, and then some, and then some, and then some, because these adults are managing everything. Right. So we had to pivot.
The adult realm and the kid realm is very different.
Just so different. Recruiting for the kids is easier, though. I will say that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. A lot of people like to work with kids, which is great. Like, that makes it easier people are more willing to have a longer, maybe start date wait time, because they're working with a kid. They know like what they're going to be doing is beneficial, not just to the kid, to the family. Kids always just have a special place in people's hearts.
It's very true. Very, very true.
But it was so refreshing, because coming in, again, we underestimated. We're like, oh, it'll be just like the adult side, right? It's everything that we're already doing. No, it was very refreshing to see the amount of applicants. Like, holy wow, this is crazy. But then, the process we had to switch it up a little bit. We had to adapt and pivot.
And pivot.
And pivot. Well, this has been very enlightening.
It's amazing.
I think you've answered more questions for me in this hour than many other conversations I've had. On just like what your day to day looks like, what your process is to get that person to a start date, and that
Well, there's also then, like, I'm working on, like, I worked this morning on 4-year background check update.
Yes.
Right. And so, like, then it's not just always about the start dating people, it's about the continuation of employment for people. And, that also then adds another barrier too. And, like, keeping up with all the requirements from the DHS and all, what they need for this form versus this form. And, when they start dated 4 years ago, the MA form was 2 pages, the Medicaid agreement was 2 pages. And now it's, so now I got to get that updated, right? Like, it's, thinking all those things through is a lot,
Yep.
right? Whether you're talking about a start date or continuation of employment or just the day to day.
Yep.
I generally have an idea. Kind of like when I was teaching, I had an idea of what I was going to be walking into, but you never know until you hit with the clients.
Yep.
And we call them our stakeholders, right? Because if our stakeholders aren't happy, we're not doing our job right.
I love that.
That can be you guys as social brokers, that could be case managers, that can be the parents, the workers. We need our stakeholders to be happy each day.
Well, we look forward to working with you guys because I love what you're doing. You guys are doing some great things over there.
Thanks.
So we're definitely making sure to spread the word and spread the name out there, and we really appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, of course. And I like you emailed me. That was my direct email, right? Like we're not a call center. Will not be. Like that's our policy. You call me, you get me, unless it's like a payroll thing, and I got nothing on that, right? Then I pass you on to payroll. But because I don't know why you didn't get paid. Did someone not approve something? Did it come in late? Right? Like I don't know those things. I don't want to know those things. Like keep my silo and where I am. Yeah. But you're gonna get me. I'm gonna give you a call back. I can text you. I can call you. I try and meet people where they're at and just be, connected to the people that need it each day.
Yeah, amazing. And that's what matters. And I think that's putting yourself in their shoes and understanding that barrier and knowing, like what you said, they need help, and knowing that makes a difference. That's what truly makes a difference every day. Oh, sorry, my white watch is telling me
not to be here anymore.
Yep.
So I get it.
Awesome. Well, any final anything final regarding FA or?
No. I just want to say, if anyone is interested in like contacting me about knowing more or wanting to switch or wanting to just know how to navigate the system, right? Like whether you're going to choose me or not, if you need help navigating the system on where to go, give me a call. Like, right? Yeah. You can find my information on our fiscalassistance.org website, and I'd be happy to help you. Right? Like, I don't want barriers for people. I want to help people. And even if you're not going to come with me, like I often answer phone calls and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Okay. I'll point you in the direction of how to get a hired worker in the adult realm. Like go to the ADRC, do X, Y, and Z, right? I'll help you do that. Yeah. Kids realm, I'm more than happy to help you too. It's just different. So just give me a call and I'll be happy to help you.
I love that. I love it. Thank you. Have a good rest
of
your day.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yes, you too.
Thanks, Ryan.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Very cool.
Well, that was fun.
That was
enlightening.
That was very enlightening. We've had many a meeting. I've not gotten that level.
They're doing great things.
Yes,
they are doing great things.
They're kind of like, they're very comparable to us in size.
Yes, they are.
And so they're growing smartly so that they can keep offering. They're not gonna sacrifice their quality over quantity.
The story sounded so familiar. Like I'm having flashbacks. I'm like, we relate so much to them. But that's how we grew.
He said the word non-for-profit though, and I'm like, gosh darn it, how come it's easy for everybody else? Like
we're gonna learn that
we're gonna figure this out.
I mean, we have to be able to learn this, right?
Yeah, we're not dumb. We can do this. I think it's more or less like time, but like everyone else is being successful in these not-for-profit models.
We got this. Yeah. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I think you're right. It's time. We just haven't had the time to educate ourselves to get there, but we're gonna get there.
Yep. There was a family that I saw on the interwebs that just out of nowhere just started a non-for-profit to help people. I'm like, where'd you find your board?
Yeah. That's our biggest hold. That shouldn't be the biggest hold up is finding a board.
My gosh.
I think it's us. We're holding ourselves back by the trust.
I'm the problem. It's me.
Yep. I'm the problem. It's me. That's funny. All right. Well, I think that I really hope to spread awareness about FA. I think that's great. Keep learning more.
Options are good.
Yes, options are good.
And now we got to get you on the road.
Yep, I got to go.